Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Women Like Me Stories and Business. Today, I have somebody that is super interesting, so I hope you stick around for the entire interview. She's going to talk about some stuff that I've actually never heard myself. So we're going to learn something from this fabulous lady. So today I'm joined by a woman who's redesigning more than just rooms. She's redesigning the way we think about our home, our health, and motherhood. So Alex Shield is an interior designer from Canada, founder of a business that helps busy moms create beautiful toxic-free spaces for their families. Interesting stuff. So welcome, Alex. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. Well, let's jump in with um, you mentioned that becoming a mom changed everything for you. So can you talk a little bit about the moment that you were on the nursery floor and just having that passion for safety sort of come alive?
Yeah, so I'm an interior designer. I've been doing it for over a decade, and when I was working for different firms and things like that, and I started learning a lot about sustainability, and I took a lot of courses on sustainability. I dove right into it. I was trying to build a more sustainable lifestyle, and then I got pregnant, and I was pregnant with my son, and I was designing his nursery. And this is when I was learning more about toxic chemicals in things like paint, textiles, furniture, mattresses, all of the things. And I was trying to find healthy options for his nursery, and it was so overwhelming. There was so much research. I spent hours and hours, and I would ask suppliers questions and and sort of I found myself sitting on the floor of his empty nursery, just feeling so overwhelmed and thinking, that I can't be the only mom who wants to have a healthy home for her kids. And
Mhm.
I think that a lot of us just don't know about all of the toxins in the furniture and the off-gassing and the harmful health effects that these materials can have on us. So for me, it was sort of the a turning point for me. It was the catalyst to starting my own business. So I founded Alex Shield Design. As you mentioned, we are an interior design firm with a focus on healthy, sustainable interiors. But I also want to educate because you can't walk into a store and know what's healthy and what's not healthy just by looking at a couch or curtains or so how do we know what materials are healthy for our homes, what will contribute to better indoor air quality. So my mission is to design the beautiful homes, but also to educate and empower
Yeah.
people to design their own healthy homes.
When you were talking, I thought to myself, we don't know what we don't know until we know. And it's
Exactly.
like, yeah, and I mean, I don't know, our difference in age, but I remember paints as a kid, and we were all, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, those paints aren't healthy.
Yeah.
We shouldn't
Yeah.
be having that kind of thing. But that's the thing, we don't know until we don't know. So it's so
Right.
important in this age of the internet and information overload. It's fabulous to have somebody who's an expert in that. So I
Right.
have
And so,
two.
I mean,
Yeah,
no,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say that I've got two little grandbabies, a granddaughter and we have more than two, but two little babies. And when you were talking, I'm thinking about my daughters. How do I know? I don't know. Both of their like one's 6 months old and one's almost a year. And I'm thinking, are there, as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, are those rooms safe?
So, babies and children, especially, they spend a lot of time on the floor, right? Babies put everything in their mouths.
Yeah.
And children, their skin it absorbs more easily than as we get older, our skin gets a little bit thicker. So as babies and children, you're playing on the floor. And if there's any, so mattresses is one, an organic invest in an organic mattress for your kids. Organic crib mattresses are not too much more expensive than regular mattresses. There's, the rug. What type of rug? What materials are on the floor that your baby is crawling around on or in? We spend so much time sleeping. So there's like I said, the mattress, the sheets, the crib. My kids chewed on their crib. Like I didn't think that was a thing, but it is.
Yeah.
And then, so there's different certifications for furniture. You can look for a Green Guard Gold certification when you're shopping for furniture, which essentially means it's been tested for thousands of chemicals. Curtains is another one. So if you're
Oh,
a mom these days, and your babies don't sleep, the recommendation is make sure you have blackout curtains. You're not letting any light in, but traditional blackout curtains are made using PVC, which contain phthalates, which can off gas and cause all kinds of harmful health issues. It
mm,
can cause respiratory issues, liver disease, cancer. Like there are so many different issues. And you mentioned paint. So paint, I think, is one of the ones we know a little bit more about.
right.
So paint, you're looking for zero VOC paint if you can, and more brands offer this. So there's different options for paint. There's also mineral-based paint, which is even better. But it's true, but it's every single. So I was looking for everything for my son's nursery, and it was literally every single thing: the rug, the curtains, the crib, the mattress, the furniture, the accessories, the stuffed animals, the everything that I was putting in his
Ah.
room. I was researching.
So tell me then, because I've never even thought about this. So who knows what's going on in my house? But tell me what would be organic? What would a mattress be that's organic? What would the what would our blankets or our sheets be? Like what is the organic stuff?
So, if we're looking at organic mattresses, I think the healthiest option is natural latex. So, latex comes from the rubber tree. There is a artificial latex. You don't want that. You want the natural latex. You can get, if you look up organic mattresses, there's different kinds. They have some with, organic cotton, organic wool. So
Ah,
there's different things you can look for when you're different types of organic, but organic essentially means there are no chemicals, there are no pesticides added
right,
throughout the process.
right.
When we talk about organic wool, if there's a certification for organic wool, there's also the animal cruelty sort of aspect to that too. So the organic wool is certified that there was no animal cruelty in that as well. So that's mattresses. And then if you're looking at sheets, you want organic cotton and look for the GOTS certification, GOTS. It's just a certification, meaning it really is the
I'm writing that
organic.
down.
And
So
so there's
GOTS.
GOTS, yeah, the GOTS organic cotton. And there's
Okay.
GOLS for the organic latex.
Oh,
So sheets, yeah, you're looking for organic cotton, organic linen. Linen is generally better, even if it's not organic. There's a lot of water use, a lot of pesticides in the production of cotton. And then there's that aspect in what's in our homes, but there's also the farmers who are growing the cotton and using the pesticides, and
mhm.
what is the impact on them, and what is the impact on the planet if we're using all of these pesticides and it ends up in the water and we end up, so there's a lot of, we can look at it from a health perspective inside our homes, but then there's also what are all the other effects of everybody else in the supply chain.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I'm looking around my office and I'm just like, I don't know about all this stuff I got in
So
here now.
so the other thing is that it becomes very overwhelming, right? Because then
Yes.
you start looking around and you
Yes.
say, oh, what do I have in my home? And I need to change everything. And you don't.
Hmm.
Um, what I would recommend is the next time that you need to make a change, just look at, are these
Ah,
natural materials? So polyester's out. Okay. So you're looking for cotton, you're looking for linen, hemp, all the sort of natural materials that are found in nature. Same thing if you're looking for furniture, you're looking for solid wood, you can look for the Green Guard Gold certification. There's different things to look for in that. But for now, open the windows more.
yeah,
Open the windows, let the air circulate.
yeah,
We spend 90% of our time indoors, most of
yeah,
the time with the windows closed.
yeah,
So how can we help get some of those toxins out of our home? It's opening the windows and
right.
letting the air circulate. It's um, another thing which seems sort of, you know, um, usual, but you clean, wet, dust, wet mop.
Right.
Because the other thing is that some of the chemicals end up in your dust. And so they end up on the floor, or the dust is in the air and we're inhaling them. So it's not always
And the
the
baby's
off-gassing
crawling
of
down there.
exactly. So it's not always the off-gassing of
Mhm.
chemicals. Sometimes it's in
Yeah.
our dust as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know a lot. That's
I have done a lot of research. I've done a lot of research. I'm very passionate about it. So, like I
yes, I
said,
can tell. That's
I worked for
perfect.
other firms. I've worked for other firms. I've been doing this for over a decade, but then it was the sustainability aspect and the health
Yes.
aspect that really
Yeah.
made me sort of go out on my own. At the firms I was working for,
Yeah.
sometimes they'd be like, "Oh, look at this cool material or this cool material," or they would show me something and I'd be like, "Yeah, but it's polyester." It just didn't
Yes.
align with sort of what I was where what I wanted
Oh,
to promote
no,
and
for
have in people's
sure.
homes. So
And I think that no, and I think you're right because when you were talking, as I said, I started looking around, and then of
yeah,
course I started feeling overwhelmed. But you're right. It's baby steps, right? It's when you're
baby
going to go
steps.
get that
Yeah,
new piece of furniture, or you need to get the new sheets, or you need to get, whatever it is that you get. You start to do slowly. Just don't burn the
yes,
house down and start from
exactly,
scratch.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
can you tell us what your biggest challenge was when you were starting your business as a new mom and how you moved through that?
As a new mom, well, for all of the moms listening, doing anything as a mom
Yeah.
besides being a mom is difficult.
Yeah.
It was very challenging to. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to start this business, and I also knew that I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to have time for my kids. So I started just part time, and I'm still pretty much part time in my business. I spend a lot of time with my kids because I wanna be there and enjoy. I don't want to look back and think that I missed out on them growing up.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge I think is that there's a lot of research to what I'm doing, and I want to get all of the certifications, and I want to make sure that I have all of the knowledge, which is forever constantly changing in terms of the information that we have available. But so it's finding the time to fit
Hmm.
everything in. That's my my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm also loving it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
when
I'm
you
very
find,
passionate about.
yeah, when you find your passion,
Yeah,
that is just it's amazing how it lights you up. The
yeah,
world seems brighter, lighter. I was in sales for 34 years and got completely, and I love my job, but I got completely burnt out to the point where I was useless. I was not answering the phone, that whole going down there. And then, I discovered, started the Women Like Me, and wow, I can just work all day long, all night. I'm
yeah,
just like, I love
right,
it. And the
right.
passion is there. And it just really, when you find that thing, that's just,
Yeah,
you got it. Yeah, I
yeah,
can tell you're super passionate about what you're
I
doing.
am.
So they say that, sustainability is a bit of a buzzword out
It
there
is.
right now.
Yeah.
And so what do you think every mom should know? I guess we kind of almost covered that. But what would be the let's give like the three top things that moms should know.
Okay. So when you're looking for materials or furniture for your home, always look for natural materials. So, like I said, not polyester, not synthetics. You want natural materials. You want cotton, linen, natural wood, bamboo, jute, sisal, all of those beautiful natural materials are going to be healthier for your home. When you're looking at paints and wall coverings, we mentioned zero VOC. There are so many options for zero VOC paints. You can also look at lime paint. It's a mineral based paint. It actually
Lime?
absorbs lime, yes, the
Oh,
mineral, and it absorbs CO2. It doesn't have any off gassing or VOCs. It's a very cool product. Um, what else? And I think it's asking questions. There's a
mm,
lot of if a company is sustainable, as you said, it is a buzzword. If a company is green, sustainable, eco-friendly, they're shouting it from the rooftops. They have something on their website that says why they're sustainable.
right.
So look on the website, do the research, and just because they say they're sustainable doesn't necessarily mean they are or all the
Hmm.
products are. So if they have a sustainability statement on their website, also look at, okay, well, what is the couch made of? Is it polyester fabrics? Oh, performance fabrics too. Performance fabrics is another one you have to be so careful of because
What is performance fabrics?
so if you go into a showroom and you want to buy a couch and you say, I have kids and I have a dog and I have a cat, they say, oh, you need the performance fabrics because these fabrics will resist stains and pilling and this and that. A
Oh.
lot of the time they're just full of chemicals. So not a healthy option for your
Mm.
home. There are performance fabrics that they are performant in terms of the type of weave, how they're weaved, the materials that are used, and they don't use harmful chemicals. So that's a whole other thing. But I think it's just being aware of these different things
Yes.
and asking the questions.
Yes.
And there are so many questions to ask. So, I mean, you can feel free to reach out if
Yeah.
you have questions. I'm happy to
Yes.
answer too.
Yes,
But yeah,
we will have Alex's details in the details section of the show
okay.
notes. So you guys will be able to reach out to her and find her absolutely if you want have any questions or need any help. So what's something about the interior design industry that you feel needs to change?
Oof. There are
Uh-oh.
so many things. There
Can
are
of
so many
worms.
things. We're talking right now, we're talking about health, but there's also the environmental impact. So the amount of waste that's created in the interior design industry is immense. Um, 10 million tons of furniture end up in landfills in the US alone every single year. 10 million tons. Okay. I think I don't remember how many millions of tons of construction debris. It's incredible amount. So I think we need to sort of refocus a little bit and look at how can we use what we have already? How can we shop vintage or secondhand? There's so much out there on the market that we can. I'm working on a project right now, and my client wanted a storage bed, so one that you open up and you can store
Oh,
things underneath.
yeah.
And we found a beautiful bed on Marketplace, and it was 250 bucks, and we're going to reupholster it, and it's going to be incredible. But like, there's so much out there already. So I think we need to, interior design is about, or interior designers, I guess, are creative, right?
Yes.
And they make things look beautiful. But how can we use our creativity to also um, use what's already here instead
Well,
of always looking for new
repurposing.
things? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the waste, there's the energy efficiency is another one,
Yes.
that'll help you save money over the long run. There's water savings. How do we save water? If you changed every single water fixture in your home, every sink, every toilet, every shower head, um, with a water sense certified fixture, you can save 6,000 liters of water per person per year.
Holy
But
smokes.
right, and the water pressure is still the same, but it's just so it's these there's a lot of really cool products and technology, but
Mhm.
they're not necessarily well known or mainstream in the market. But
Yes.
there's more and more. So I think the industry is changing and is starting to become more sustainable. But
Yeah.
I think we need to, as consumers, just be aware of these things. And like the water sense faucets don't cost more. There are regular Home Depot
Yeah.
faucets that are water sense certified. So it's not about spending more money. I think it's just about slowing down and asking the
Right.
questions and doing the research instead of, oh, I found this thing online, click buy, it arrived, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that you said that because we actually are looking at, we just noticed that we need to do some replacement with some of our taps. And
Okay.
when I go out looking, I will be looking for
There you go.
something that is,
There you go.
and again, I didn't need, you see the refrigerators and the
The Energy
dishwashers and
Star and yeah,
yeah, but you don't
yeah,
think about taps.
yeah, yeah. So if you're
These
looking
little
at sort of
things.
basic models like Kohler, Moen, Delta, they all have the water sense. And you can even go on some websites, you can go and you can filter by the water sense certification. So you only see the ones with the water
Yeah.
sense feature.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's too bad we don't see more builders
Mhm.
using these kinds of materials.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's starting as well. I think there's more and more innovative building materials. There's different ways of building walls. There's there's recycled insulation. There's a recycled denim insulation you can use. Yeah,
Wow.
there's all kinds of really cool. There's hempcrete, which is like a concrete but made of hemp that you can use for interiors for building walls. There's all
Yeah.
kinds of really cool stuff out there, but again, it's
Yeah.
not mainstream.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't
Yeah.
hear about it as much.
No, for sure. But there are so many. I just get blown away all the time. When I was in real estate, I'd go into someone's home and it would be, oh, that's a lovely countertop. And they're like, oh, it's a paint. I'm like, what do you mean it's a paint? I mean, there's just so many
There's
different,
so much out there.
so
Yeah,
much out there.
for sure.
It'd be fun to renovate.
Yeah, well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Exactly, exactly. So how do you stay inspired when your work maybe gets heavy or your progress feels like it's slowing down? Like how do you keep your mindset in a positive mode?
I believe that what I'm doing is the right thing to be doing. And if I am feeling uninspired, I will go out and I will look for things that inspire me, things that, different
Mm.
designs or look at different architecture or different and think of, how could we create this in a sustainable way? There's so many, I have even right here, I have like this beautiful organic cotton velvet. Like there are
Oh,
so many, I think I'm inspired by, or I get excited about all of the really cool innovative products. You can have furniture made from coffee grounds. Like there's just, and I think that's what inspires me, or light fixtures made from mycelium, which is the mushroom root. And I get excited just talking about it because there's so many cool things out there. And I think
yeah.
seeing that I'm not the only one trying to, break down these
Yeah.
these walls, I'm growing a community too of people who are like me, who want, the same outcome as me, and how can we support each other, so I think it's surrounding yourself with the right people too helps
Yes.
you to keep going and keep being inspired.
For sure. And if somebody's really concerned about their environment and the environment of the world, but and their home environment, reaching out to someone like you is going to be so helpful because you've already done the work.
Hmm.
That's the thing,
Right.
a lot of times we think, oh, well, we can just, we'll just figure it out. But experience and all of that other stuff is so, so
Yeah,
important. It's just
it's a lot.
so, oh, it's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
So, we already asked you that. Oh, so what do you wish more women in business knew about creating a brand? Because you really are creating a
Mm.
brand, one that's
Mm.
rooted in personal values and lived experience.
So I think what's really important is staying true to what you believe and being yourself.
Yes.
And, um, I talk about being a mom, and I talk about, I mean, it's part of my story is why I started my business, right? And some people who are close to me, like my family, who's maybe not my ideal client, they'll say,
Yeah.
you shouldn't talk about being a mom. It's not professional. You're an interior designer. But but it's part of my brand. It's part of who I am. It's part of my purpose, right? So I think it's just staying true to who you are, um, and telling your story, because people will. That's what's going to attract people is the story. It's your why. It's your purpose.
Absolutely. A
Yeah.
100 trillion%. That is it. I tell a lot of people, ladies that I'm involved with, that story, your business story. We all have a business story,
Hmm.
why we're doing what we're doing. And it's important to craft that. And as you say, to be able to talk about it, because you're just taking an example of what you've already told us. If I was a mom, I would, and I wanted to redo a nursery or start my nursery or, any of those kinds of things, I would be reaching out to you because you know it. You've been it. You're doing
Hmm.
it,
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't heard your story.
And I actually have a free guide if anyone's interested, is
Oh,
how to design a healthy nursery. So if you want to add that in the comments, they can go, they can click, they can sign up, they can get the free guide. And it has all of the things to look for in terms of furniture, bedding, curtains, all of the things.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Do you have a link that you would be able to send
Yes.
to me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous, Alex. Thank you.
No problem.
That's great. I'm sending that to my daughters.
Okay. There you
And
go.
they can have
Perfect.
a look at that for sure.
Perfect.
So, well, I have just loved our conversation, and you really are a wealth of knowledge. And I love what you're doing. And I love how you're, you're not just a designer, you're an educating designer.
I am. I'm
No,
an
you
educator.
are
Yes.
for sure. And
Yes.
that's important
Yes.
because it's great to have somebody who knows what they're doing, but to know what they're doing with everything behind that
Yes.
is just it's invaluable. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So I
Thank you.
love it. Love what you're doing. So in closing, is there anything that you would like to say to our audience before we close?
I think it's again just coming back to, you might have listened to this and now you're looking around your home and maybe feeling overwhelmed. Don't feel overwhelmed. It's something that I think we can do over time. If next time you're gonna get a new couch, well, let's do some research. What are we looking for in the materials and all of that?
Yeah.
So I think it's just one step at a time. It's baby steps, like you said, and just trying to slowly over time build that healthy home. Because I mean, it's not sustainable to throw everything away and start from scratch. And I mean,
No.
who has the budget for that anyway, right? So
Right. Yes.
just slow baby
Yeah.
steps, open your windows, and yeah, one
I
thing at
have
a
an
time.
I have another question for you before we go.
Yeah, sure.
So do you can you consult with people over
Yeah,
over the internet? Like
of
I
course.
think
Yeah.
are you in Montreal?
Montreal. Yes,
Montreal.
Montreal.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm out near Vancouver. So we're like
Yeah.
a good 6 hour plane ride away from one another. But
Yeah.
you would be able to consult if I was
Yes,
redoing the nursery or any of those
of
kinds of
course.
things. You don't necessarily, as a designer, you don't necessarily have to walk into my home.
Correct. So I do a lot of consulting. I do have clients right now in Toronto, Ottawa, California, Florida, so all over. And really, it's just about we could do consulting, or I can do the full virtual design. I'm not there to pick the pieces with you,
Yeah.
but I can send you a shopping list with all of the things you need to complete your space. So yes, I can offer that as well.
Perfect. Oh, that's good to
Yeah.
know. Wow. Okay, Alex. Well, that was so educational. My eyes are now dotting around. I'm going to have to focus, Julie. Bring yourself in. You can't go get up and start throwing stuff out.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Not
Yeah.
yet. My husband might have something to say about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Well, if anybody would like to consult with Alex, I know she does speaking events if you wanted to bring her in for that, or just needed a consultation with her. I'm going to have all of that information for you to reach out to her in the show notes. And she's very open to chatting, so don't hesitate to reach out to her, everybody, if you're interested. So thanks again, Alex, for being on the Women Like Me podcast. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, take care, everybody. Bye bye.